I am a huge believer in second chances, especially when it comes to clothes. Hello everyone, welcome back to the June Made channel. My name is Paula Jean and this is where I share about my sewing and making adventures. In the month of February, I actually spent most of my sewing time in my refashion / fix-it pile. And originally I wasn't going to share on here about that, but then I thought, well, why not? And I think the reason I was hesitant is because I'm so blown away by the transformations that some people on YouTube and on Instagram do. I've seen people take like an old men's jacket and turn it into a living unicorn. And my own approach to refashioning and transformation is a little bit more low key. My prime directive is always to extend the life of my wardrobe. And I think at a time when we're all kind of more conscious of fast fashion and trying to hang on to our garments a little bit more, that makes the most sense to me. And sometimes that means taking something that is worn out, stretched out, pilling something that nobody is going to buy secondhand anyway, and salvaging some of the fabric from that and trying to turn it into something that will give it a few more months of life. And sometimes that looks like something that I'm just not wearing very often for some reason. Either it doesn't fit my proportions or there's some little tweak that I need to make. But to actually ask myself the question of like, well, why am I not wearing it? And seeing if I can address it myself before I just write it off. So this is actually going to be 2 videos. So this is the first of 2 parts. When I did all my filming, I was like, there's no way I can get this all in one video. So part 1 today is going to be a refashion of one of the sweaters that my husband had in his giveaway pile. Next week, fingers crossed, I'm going to show you what I do to make t-shirts fit me and my proportions better so that I am able to wear them with more things in my wardrobe. So let's get on to the first one. Okay, this is actually from Neil's giveaway pile. I really like this, and he really liked it when he bought it, I think at Simon's in Montreal many years ago. It's cotton, but it's got a little bit of a texture to it. It's got this really beautiful detail like on the neckline. I really like this little neckline with the placket, and it looks like it's white, but I think it's light blue. It's got it on the sleeves and on the arm side and on the waistband here. This went through about 3 cycles of giveaway pile, but try it on first. Oh, it's really nice. Let's keep it another cycle, but then he wouldn't wear it. Yada, 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 over and over again. So I decided to pull it out this last time because I like it, and it's fine. It's like, kind of a loose, beachy kind of thing. I just don't wear this kind of loose shapelessness, but I'm gonna see if I can crop it to be a little bit more toward my waist, because that's where I tend to wear these kinds of sweaters. So, maybe take it in a little bit here so it's a little more me fitting. I'm gonna do that and try to save the white detail that I like so much. That might do it. If not, I think this would also look really cute with this sleeve length. And there is enough stretch in this cuff that if I gave it the same treatment as the waistband and brought it up here, I think it would work. So we'll do this in 2 steps. I'll do the waistbands and the side seams first, and then see where we're at and maybe shorten the sleeves as well. Alrighty, so I have measured it, the length, that is, where I want it to hit on my body. I've got my little pin mark here. I've decided to do the length first rather than take in the sides because this is a pretty boxy shape, and so I'm worried that if I do too much altering at the sides first, then it's going to mess up how well the waistband lines up where I want it to hit. So I'm going to do that first, and it's actually the way that the sweater was constructed to begin with. They did a knitted side seam, I guess. So I'm just doing it the way that it was originally made. So I have my little pin mark, and when I measure the waistband just above where that light blue line where I want it to hit, it measures almost exactly 2 inches. Like that gives me a little bit of room. So I'm going to, I don't want to cut this too soon because it's a knit and I don't want it to unravel because it's not a super, super tight knit. So I'm just going to measure a little bit more than 2 inches above my pin mark and then draw a line in chalk all the way around the sweater so that I have a line to match up the waistband with. And then I'm just going to sew because I can see that light blue line on the back side. Oh, this actually has a really nice pattern on the inside. I should have made that the outside. Oh well. So I can just sew right on the outside of that line, and then when I flip it down, I'll still have that light blue, I keep changing it, whatever, the light line. Then I should end up with a waistband that is right where I want it. Fingers crossed. Okay, moment of truth to see if I got a nice clean edge just above that light blue line. Oh, I like what I'm seeing. Okay, very happy. I'm losing light, so I'm going to stop recording, but I'm going to do a little overlock stitch just right next to the stitch that I've just done. Maybe even just another zigzag stitch. It's just to make sure that the fabric doesn't unravel. And then I will check the length and we'll see what else I need to do to it. Okay, good night for now. Hello, it's tomorrow. Let me tell you about the sweater saga from last night. So I shortened it and sewed it all nicely, and I tried it on, and I didn't take off enough lengths. It ended up hitting me in some weird spot between my hip bone and my high hip, like just in a weird spot that I didn't really like. It wasn't what I was going for. So I then needed to figure out how to take it up again and still maintain the light blue line. So you can see what I did here. That zigzag line is from where I took the sweater where it needed to be taken up, and I just folded it down, and I ended up stitching it on the right side very carefully all the way around. And now it's the length that I wanted, and it actually totally looks fine because my thread matches so well. So did this, tried it on, great length. The ribbing part of it is a little smaller than the rest of it, and I knew that, and I knew I was going to take it in at the sides. But when I tried it on, I had a lot of bagging in my lower back. I have a sway back, and I wasn't sure how to tackle a sway back adjustment with this, but what I ended up doing is I made a little slit at the side. So when I stitched the side seam after taking it in, I just stitched it. I actually did the side seam with a straight stitch, and because you don't really need that to stretch on a sweater vertically. And then I just went along and did a little zigzag beside the straight stitch to make sure that it doesn't unravel, and that works fine. So then at the bottom edge, I just did this little slit. So I zigzagged the edge of the seam allowance here and folded it over. I only did one side because I kind of wanted to show you what exactly was happening. And so this is the side that hasn't been done. I've already taken it in, done the straight stitch, did a zigzag there. I'm just letting that extra seam allowance roll there. And then here with this extra seam allowance, I just fold over the top there to make a nice little triangle. And then fold this back, stitch along here, and here and here. And then I end up with this really nice little, completely intentional looking side slit that kind of takes care of the bagging in the back because it gives me a little bit more room at the hip line for that to kind of stretch and sit where it needs to be. That's a terrible explanation, but you're going to see what I'm talking about when I finish this and try it on. So here we are. I love this length. I love it taken in. This at the back, and I still have a little bit of fabric that's bunching up back here, but it is so much more alleviated by these little side slits. See that here? It just helps that fabric relax a little bit instead of being like pulled tight and then this bunching out. And I am totally fine with it. Now, the sleeves. They're fine. I know that I would end up doing this a lot, and the ribbing on the end of this, the ribbing at the cuff, is not the same, doesn't have the same integrity as the ribbing at the bottom. It has, let me try and focus here. It's getting weak, even though this hasn't been worn very much. It's just getting so kind of frail, and I'm just worried that it's going to start unraveling. So rather than putting it through all that stress, I can't get out of my head how much more I might reach for this if I brought the sleeve length up. And I know this looks weird, it's going to be all bunched up, but that's fine. But if I just brought it up to that length, I think I would wear this all the time in the spring. It would also maybe prompt me to make those white linen pants that I've been meaning to make. And then this would just sit here. I wouldn't be putting a lot of stress on it by pushing it up my arm all the time. And I think I'm going to do it. Okay, how cute is this? I am so happy I took the sleeves shorter. I went a little bit shorter than I was originally going to after what happened with the waistband, but I love it. I think I will reach for this all the time in the spring, and I'm thrilled with how this turned out. So, one down, a couple more to go.